Thanks.
Thank you. So, in which case, good morning. My name is Olivia Parfitt and I will be the facilitator and clerk for this subcommittee meeting, and I am pleased to welcome you to this remote meeting of the subcommittee. The public proceedings of the meeting will be broadcast live and recorded for playback, and members are reminded that the instant messaging facility should only be used by members to indicate their wish to speak. And from this, I will now go to item 1, apologies. There are no apologies for this morning's meeting. Item 2, substitute members. We therefore have no substitute members. Item 3, election of the chairman. May I ask for a nomination for chairman?
Councillor Grigg.
Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, I suppose it's I'm the only one who can second here. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Thank you. As that has been, we've had a nomination and that has been seconded. Councillor Grigg, you have now been elected as chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we make a start, can I just make a request that due to sort of possible connectivity issues, if you aren't speaking, is it possible, please, that you could put yourself on mute? I think that sometimes helps with any problem areas. Right, we'll go straight on to item 4, disclosures by members and officers. I'd like to ask if there are any disclosures by members and officers. I'll take that as a no, so we can go straight on to item 5, disclosures of lobbying. The facilitator will ask members of the subcommittee in alphabetical order if they have disclosures of lobbying, and they must answer either none or yes and specify the agenda items or item.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Garton.
None.
Councillor Grigg.
None.
Councillor Joy.
None.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll go on to item 6 to consider whether any items should be taken in private. I intend to take item 7, the application to vary a premise license under the Licensing Act 2003 for the Green Room, 32 to 34 Earl Street, Maidstone, Kent, ME14 1PS in public. Following the hearing's closure, the subcommittee will retire to a private session to consider the application, and the decision will then be announced in public. Okay. Right, item 7, we go on to our application. The reason why we're here today to vary the premise licence under the Licensing Act 2003 for the Green Room, 32 to 34 Earl Street. I will now ask that all the persons participating in this morning's hearing can identify themselves, and I will start by saying that my name is Councillor Susan Grigg. I'll be chairing the meeting today, and I'm actually the borough member for Lewes. Councillor Joy?
Councillor Denise Joy and High Street Ward Councillor. Thank you.
Councillor Garton?
Yeah, Councillor Garton, member for North Downs Ward.
Thank you. We have representative as a legal advisor. Could you please identify yourself?
Thank you, Chair. Sarah Beasley, Senior Lawyer for the Contentious Team in the Council's Legal Services, Legal Advisor to this committee, supported today by my manager, Robin Harris.
Thank you very much indeed. And our committee clerk and facilitator?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, my name is Olivia Parfitt and I'll be the committee clerk and facilitator for this morning's meeting.
Many thanks. Democratic Service Officer. Laura Banks, do we have Laura with us?
Hello, yes, Laura Banks. As you said, Democratic Services Officer here for training purposes.
Lovely, thank you. The applicant and any representatives.
Hi, good morning. Oh, sorry, Marcus. Enrique Rodal, Director of Unity Parties Limited and Director of the Green Room.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marcus Lavelle, advocate for the applicants in this hearing. And we also have our security provider here as well.
Right, and the name of that security advisor?
Lawrence, are you available? I think we may have a technological problem. Okay, well, Lawrence Cloughton is available.
I'm here now.
It's here. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Lawrence Cloughton. I'm Director of PMP Security, who have got a contract at Green Room.
Lovely. And do we have any other interested parties here?
Yes, I'm a local resident, but I'd like to remain anonymous.
Lovely, fine. And did I understand that we had another guest, Miss Parfitt, Miss Roberts, someone?
Yes, there should be 3 interested parties during this morning's meeting, Chair. So we should have, yes, we should have Robert Jones, And my apologies, I can't actually see who's joined as they're on guest. If we could ask them to just confirm.
If there are any guests here today who are actually going to be speaking, can they please let me know they're here? Robert, are you here? I know you did say yes earlier. Okay. Ms. Parfitt, what do we do with the fact that they're not identifying now? Will we just carry on without them?
If I can seek legal advice on this one, please, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. In respect of the anyone that was expected to be attending but hasn't attended, a decision needs to be made whether you proceed in their absence or if you would adjourn on this matter. It's a decision for the subcommittee to make.
Sorry, was that someone else trying to speak there? Okay, can I just address the other councillors on the subcommittee, please? Councillor Joy, Councillor Garton. Is it your wish that we proceed in the absence of these people?
Shall I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Patrick? I think yes, we should go ahead.
Fine by me. Yeah.
And fine by me too. Okay. Right. Can I ask, please, that all parties confirm they've received a copy and are aware of this subcommittee hearing procedure? I'll take the note that you have. Thank you. I'll now explain, the subcommittee is going to allow all parties to put their case fully and make submissions to the panel within a reasonable time frame. This procedure should take form of a discussion led by the subcommittee with the cross-examination usually permitted within a reasonable time frame. I'm sure this won't be necessary, but I do have to say it. Any persons in attendance behaving in a disruptive manner may be directed to leave the meeting, after which such person may submit to the subcommittee over the instant messaging facility any information which that person would have been entitled to give orally had the person not been required to leave the meeting. If this is not possible, they may be allowed to speak at my discretion. Right, I'm now going to ask all the subcommittee members to confirm that they have pre-read all the papers and other documentation regarding the hearing.
Councillor Joy, yes, I have.
Councillor Garton?
Yes, indeed. I had to download it from the internet, but I believe there are no yellow pages, so whatever is publicly available, I did read, plus the emails we were sent yesterday or the day before.
Thank you very much. Have any draft conditions been agreed between the applicant and other parties for the subcommittee to consider? Ms. Parfitt, I'll assume that the answer to that is no.
Yes, unless otherwise stated, please, Chair.
Thank you. I now ask if the applicant requests to have any witnesses give evidence at the hearing.
Chair, if I may address that, just to try and keep things orderly,
Sure.
effectively, I'll do an amount of the speaking, but I will introduce a comment from both Mr. Rodal and Mr. Cloughton as may be required while we're covering various different matters. Everybody, both Mr. Rodal, Mr. Cloughton, have registered as attendees for this meeting.
Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Lavelle. Can I now ask Lorraine Nell, who's a Senior Licensing Officer, can you please briefly outline the application and all representations regarding this application?
Good morning, Chair. Yes. Okay. This is an application submitted by Unity Parties Limited to vary the licence for the Green Room, 32 to 34 Earl Street, Maidstone, Kent, ME141PS. The licensable activities and the hours requested can be seen in the table at page 1 on the report and the application form attached as Appendix 1. The application also seeks to remove the conditions which can be found at page 1. I won't read them out, they're obviously there, members have already read them. The police initially submitted reps on the 8th of January 21, which were agreed with some alteration by the applicant on the same date. The police withdrew their reps on the 12th of the 1st, 21, subject to the 21 agreed conditions found at pages 4 to 7 being attached to the licence. 5 objections were received from other parties. These persons are listed in the table at page 3 of the report, and their concerns are summarised beneath as They're concerned that this application represents a substantial change to the activities in the area. Currently, it's predominantly dominated by restaurants, and in offering routine late night hospitality, it will increase in hours of operation for certain lifestyle activities. It will encourage visitors and could have significant adverse disturbance effect on nearby residents and increase crime, disorder, public nuisance for the town centre. There are also public safety concerns around the increase to late night traffic and the potential to drink drive in an area which is pedestrianised, and the danger that poses to families with children visiting the area. The current licence and plans for the premises are attached as appendices 5 and 6. Additional materials were provided by the applicant and were circulated to all parties on Tuesday, the 16th of February. They included dispersal strategy, sound and security reports, upcoming events, support letters, the police licensing officer correspondence with the applicant, and a map showing the late night venues in Maidstone. And that's basically the outline of the application, and members are asked to consider the options at 10, page 11, when determining the application. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms Neal. Can I now ask the applicant, please? We'll invite you now to provide your opening remarks, followed by your evidence and witnesses.
Thank you very much, Chair. Can I simply check that I am broadcasting loud and clear and everybody can hear me?
Yes, very good.
Thank you. As I have said earlier, I'm here today with Mr. Rodal and Mr. Cloughton, and you're going to be hearing from them, fleshing out this application, but also addressing those concerns that have been raised in the valid representations before the members. If I can just cut to this and begin with simply asking Mr. Rodal to explain to you why he's chosen this specific location, both the building and the location in which it's sited.
Thank you, Marcus. I've lived in Maidstone for 15 years. My first date was at Pizza Express, and it's an iconic building. It's, as soon as it came up for lease, it was the reason that we approached the agents and wanted to lease it. It's just an amazing venue that has been used for music for over 50 years in the town, and to see that go to maybe flats or to whatever, it was just something that we didn't want to see. So that was the reason, and obviously it's located central town centre, which is ideal for what we would like to do with it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. O'Dell. Just moving on from that, you're in the building at the moment. What is it you actually do at that building? Can you just quickly describe for the members the nature of the operation as it stands?
As it stands, we will be opening a whisky room with over 100 whiskies and a barman that's trained in knowing all that. We've got a restaurant that we are still going to be doing pizzas. Almost a Shoreditch style restaurant. We've got a jazz room that was soundproofed by Pizza Express many years ago, and has been traditionally known in this area as bringing amazing talent to Maidstone. We would like to carry that on with that room. We've turned an empty room on the first floor into a record shop, so it's going to be a vinyl only record shop that's going to be open 7 days a week. Again, bringing music and arts back into Maidstone. And then on the top floor, we will be turning it into what will be called the Sky Lounge, which is a members-only cocktail and champagne bar. So what we are aiming to go for is a higher-end market, not the £1 drinks, an over 25 crowd, and that's our target order for this group.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. I appear to be having difficulties coming back online. Can I just check everybody can hear me still?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Oh, okay. My video doesn't seem to want to work. Oh well. Given what you've said about the operation...
Oh, we've lost you.
Hello, can I now be heard?
Yes.
Oh. Why is it you actually need these later hours then, Mr. Rodal? Because that's what this application is about. It's going to allow you to operate later and operate in a way that allows you to sell alcohol without a meal. So you'll no longer be a restaurant in its entirety. Could you just explain to the members what you're looking to do?
That's correct. So, after doing quite a bit of research, we found that if the people that will be in here eating, if we can offer them a safe and secure space that they don't have to walk out in the street as well, it means that we can earn more money. Obviously, we can give more jobs. We can also stop people wandering around the streets from venue to venue. So that's the reason, really. It's for jobs, for us to earn more money. We can increase our capacity of staff by an extra 20 people. Having them 2 days of Friday and Saturday night is the late nights that we would be using it. Yeah, we just have more jobs in the town, which is greatly needed at the minute.
Okay, could I just ask you to clarify one point there as well for the members? I mean, you mentioned Friday and Saturday nights being your key nights.
Correct.
The application the members will have seen is effectively 7 days a week. What is it that you need those later hours 7 days a week, or are they simply a request for flexibility?
It's just a request of flexibility. We've spoke with PC James Williams, who's a licensing officer, many times in the building regarding this application, and it was advised to us from him to go for the full spectrum of hours. When in fact we're really we only want the Friday and Saturday night to be 4 a.m. and bank holiday Sundays. The rest of the week we will be sticking to the hours that the license is already in at the minute.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification there. Now, if I can, what I'd like us to do is to move on and actually address the concerns that the members would have seen raised in those representations. Now, there's no representation specifically on crime and disorder from the experts, the police, because although they raised a representation, that was dealt with through the conditions you've agreed with them, and they're within the papers available to the members. There is the correspondence you had with the police developing those very conditions. Also, in terms of noise nuisance, again, the local authorities expert, the environmental health officer, hasn't raised an objection, but we have seen in certain local residents' objections a number of issues raised. Now, if I can, just for the members, before we move on to dealing with those, I would suggest they come under two primary headings, which are the risk of crime and disorder and the risk of noise nuisance being caused locally in the area in which we find this premises. If I could just address one third issue that was raised by your officer as being extracted from the representations, this idea that there's a risk of enhanced drink driving in the area, and the fact that that would present a danger to children. I guess the prevention of children, the protection of children from harm objective being engaged there. This application takes an existing licensed premises and wishes to extend it late into the night. I'd suggest there probably aren't too many families with young children walking around in the street at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. However, when it comes to drink driving is a very serious issue, but this application carries with it no greater risk of customers drink driving than any other licensed premises within the area, regardless of the hours it takes place. However, I've spoken to Mr. O'Dowd previously as to the way in which he wishes to ensure good practice at his premises. Mr. O'Dowd, if you were contacted, for example, by the police regarding any drink driving incident, would you cooperate with them in terms of providing till receipts, CCTV of activities inside the premises?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, and would you be prepared to ensure that there's some form of promotional material through your media presence, which I understand is substantial, as well as your own website and on-site advertising, warning people against the risks and dangers of drink driving?
Absolutely, and we would be working very closely with James Williams, PC James Williams, on this matter. On entrance there'll be many signs, and on our social medias, including noise pollution as well, that if anybody is made to make noise pollutions when they're leaving, we will bar them from here. You know.
I was going to say, on that very thing, just as we move on to the issue of noise nuisance, one thing that's been raised by residents is, will there be additional, and they have a fear there will be additional noise nuisance in the street and within your premises leaking from the premises. So if we can just pin those down. In terms of noise emanating from your premises, because you're going to be playing loud music, what do you say to that?
Well, I mean, it's a well-known fact that Pizza Express had a very famous jazz club here. They spent a lot of money soundproofing it. Over the last few weeks, we made a report from a sound company that did 2 weeks' worth of sound checks to show that the building is actually soundproof. So no noise will leak from here. We've put a strategy in place that there's things like windows will be shut from 9 p.m. There'll be no glass bottles emptied outside after the hours of 11 p.m. So because that is very loud, and we do respect our neighbours. As far as outside, we'll be putting street marshals outside during the peak hours of exits to make sure that where residents live, which is a good few hundred metres away, we would put two wardens there, and then anybody that's not respecting our rules will be barred. We've got a scan system, an ID scan system, so we can pinpoint anybody that misbehaves.
Okay, just for clarification on that, because the members do have some documents in front of them.
Correct.
The details of your controls will be in place during dispersal times. They're found, I understand it, within your dispersal strategy, which I understand the members have. But also there's effectively a schedule of other late night premises in the area. It does detail the green room with a green circle, just for the members' notes. Where is it you would be looking at placing your street marshals? Are we directly in the street? Are we further away from the premises near noise-sensitive premises? Can you just explain how that would work?
Yes, there's 2 residential blocks of flats at the bottom of the street, opposite Five Guys. I'm sure you guys know where everything is, being from Maidstone. We would put 2 down there and 2 at the top of the street until everybody was dispersed in a quiet fashion.
Excellent, thank you very much. And now this is where we move over into the issues of crime and disorder, but also customer control. And we do have Lawrence available, so this may be a question for you, it may be a question for Lawrence. In terms of staffing and customer control, very particularly at those sensitive times from midnight till 4 or 5 a.m. as people are still in the area, how many door supervisors, licensed SIA door supervisors will we have? How many other members of staff will we have in those customer supervision roles at that time?
On the front door, there'll be three SIA controlling the ingress and egress of the building, and also dispersing people that are leaving to go to either other venues or home, and helping them in any way we can. If it's numbers for taxis, or it's pointing them in the right direction for them to leave and get off the road as quickly as possible, so we're not having anyone crowding round.
Okay, how many door supervisors and other members of staff are we looking at in total during peak times when we've got a considerable number of people in the premises?
Yeah, I believe there'll be 13 to 16, and industry standard says 1 to every 100. We've spoke to Mr. Riddell, and we've come to a conclusion that we'll be putting more in place in case of breaks or anything else that is. So we're fully staffed and over the amount that industry standards.
Do we just happen to know, if someone else can do the division, is that it's in the region of 1 to 70, 1 to 80?
Yeah, I think
SIA members to customers.
Yeah. So we're going 20 below industry standard.
That's excellent. Thank you very much. But what actually happens if I'm a customer and I've enjoyed my night, but it's early in the morning, it's 3 o'clock, I leave and I start making noise in the street, and I'm acting in a way that's going to cause potential nuisance to local residents as I then make my way home?
They'll be asked politely to move on and go home. And if they don't adhere to our ways of asking them, then we will speak to Mr. Riddell and get them barred with the scanner.
Yeah, Mr. Riddell, can you just confirm that is something that would happen, and how would it actually happen? You mentioned a scanner.
Yes, we, as a venue, we will be, I believe, the only venue in Maidstone now that will have an ID scanner on entry, which you must have a picture ID to enter our building for any events. With this, we work with the police. Any time that they need to see somebody with the CCTV, we can pinpoint anybody that's in the building at any point. And if they're misbehaving outside, it's very easily to find out who it is. And then the ID scanner works in the way that we can put a red mark next to their name, and anytime they try to enter, it will flash up and it won't allow them to come in, which is an automatic bar. Anybody that misbehaves or does not abide by our rules, which is especially being quiet outside, will be barred.
Okay, and if I'm a local resident and I'm experiencing some kind of noise nuisance within the vicinity of the Green Room, how do I know to get hold of you?
So on a monthly basis, we will be sending a letter out to all residents in the vicinity with an update of what's happening at the building, contact numbers for myself, for the head of security, and for the management team at the time. So there will be a minimum of 4 numbers there that anybody can call at any time that we are open or closed. Our doors are always open. Anybody can always come in and have a meeting with us with any regard, anything that they've got an issue with. So we can work with them to make sure that the area is kept safe and the neighbours are kept happy.
Okay, and just if we can, just one final thing there. Everything here will effectively come down to management. We've got you and we've got Lawrence here. Who's actually going to be the head of security on site on a day-to-day basis?
Our head doorman will be Jay Lambert. He's over 15 years experience in the security industry, but he's also worked the town for many, many years, being head doorman in various venues and also owning a company at one point that held the security in the building. He knows the people around the area. He knows the area well and can point people in the right.
Hello. Could I just ask the members if... Chair, I still see you online, but unfortunately...
Yes, we seem to have lost a couple here. We seem to have lost your two witnesses.
So I'm back. I don't know
you're
what...
back.
Okay, all very odd. But fortunately, we seem to have gotten to the end, effectively, the things I wish to cover off. We heard that there will be an experienced head of security on site daily.
Oh, I'm back. Don't know what's happening there.
It's like musical personnel here today, isn't it? We will just give Mr. Lavelle a couple of seconds to see if he can rejoin us. If not, I think we'll continue. And I thought it was going to be me that was going to have the connectivity issues today.
I think just to finish off on what Mr. Lavelle was saying is that the head of security, Jay, again, is very well known in the town. He knows, he's worked every door, and we're very confident that he can manage the ingress and egress very, very well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry about that. I also seem to suffer the same network problems that everybody else did. Can I just check I'm once again back in the matrix?
You are back on, and Mr. Rodell sort of, I think, finished off basically what you were trying to say.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. With that having been said, rather than simply go on and on now, I'm sure the members may have specific questions based upon the documentation they've read. I'm more than happy for us to now just simply use our time to deal with any questions or concerns the members may have.
Lovely. Can I start with you, Councillor Joy? Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have a couple. Now I've got to try and get the name. Is it Mr. Riddell that spoke? Yes.
That's
Hi. On some of it's just clarification, really.
Oh.
You were explaining about it being a restaurant, but there's now the other facilities that's available to the public. And one of the things I noted was when you was talking about it would help because people wouldn't be leaving and joining all the other footfall that's out on the street at a particular time.
Right.
So my question is, are you allowing people that haven't been in the restaurant or wherever the part of the building or entered the building in any way, are you going to allow those that are walking around because something else has closed to come in? I don't think that was made very clear.
Okay, so I mean, as any business, we would like the building to be full, and as a business, we need to take money. But the only people that will be allowed in is people that are not drunk, that are using the ID scanner. They'll go through the metal detector. that we've got in place. So, yes, it will be allowed, but we can cap a time limit on that as well. And we're happy to work with people and with the police on what they advise us to do.
Okay, thank you. And I have a second one.
I'm terribly sorry, Councillor Joy. Not that I'd want to interrupt, but to answer the question you've just asked Mr. O'Dell, I understand there's a different charging system for people who come in late as opposed to people who are in earlier, making use of the restaurant and so on.
Yes, correct.
Mr. O'Dell, if you could just explain that to
Thank
Councillor.
you.
Sorry, yes. Actually, it's my first time doing this, so.
No, that's fine. Don't worry.
So yeah, I mean, if the people are in the restaurant, they can stay in for free and enjoy all the services that we can provide because they've already spent money with us. If the idea being that if somebody comes in at a later time, that there will be a charge on the door.
And do we know that charge?
It all depends on which event that we are promoting that night. So we've got a Whitney Houston event coming up from the West End. Every act that we book is a different price, so we manage it on that.
Okay, thank you. And you also mentioned the residents. Obviously, it is a residential area as well, which obviously they're going to have concerns about the noise and the other issues that they've talked about. You said about numbers being given so that you can be contacted at any time.
Right.
If you were, and the application was agreed, can I stress that may be a good idea if those numbers were also given to the ward councillors, because believe it or not, I have had the odd. Sorry.
Sorry.
Carry on, Councillor Joy.
Sorry. That ward councillors could be given the same telephone numbers because we are known to get calls quite late at night, so it would help.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I would like to, before we open, is invite everybody down for a meeting so everybody has the same numbers and knows the process that we put in place. We're going to have a building phone that will be on at all times that will be carried by the DPS. Plus, then you've got my mobile number, plus the head of security, plus the rest of the management team. You know, somebody will be able to be got hold of within minutes.
Thank you.
Councillor, I'm effectively without instructions on this, and hopefully won't get shouted at by my client. One thing that's worked for other premises that I've been involved in terms of communication is the modern phenomenon of WhatsApp that I myself am just about getting to grips with, and that a WhatsApp group can be set up that effectively provides immediate and transparent communication. So there can be members of the WhatsApp group who are at the highest level of management as well as coalface management at the premises, ward councillors, officers of the council and local residents, and they can see any issues coming in and being dealt with effectively in real time, I believe is the buzzword.
Yes, we would be more than happy to agree that as well, and suggest it, in fact.
Thank you.
Councillor Garton, do you have any questions?
Oh, a whole book full. Yeah, Councillor Joy is the local. You are a local councillor, aren't you, for that particular part of the town centre? No. Sorry, you're breaking up.
I said yes, I am, Councillor Garton.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So you know that area very, very well. I'm less familiar with it. So I would really like to start from the beginning. At the moment, it is a Pizza Express, which you took over. So it is a restaurant. I've been there, I think, once or twice, but I have very faint memories of it. And you want to completely revamp this place, and your license application is for wrestling events and all sorts of things. So first question, are you actually intending to increase the floor plan, i.e. extend the building?
No, Councillor Garton. So the Pizza Express building is actually on 5 floors. It always has been on 5 floors. It's got a jazz club on the first floor, which is 300 capacity. That has been used for 50 years, I believe, as that. The floor space is 8,000 square meters in the whole building. We are just utilising the rooms, unlike Pizza Express did, like any good businessman would.
Right. So it doesn't look like 8,000 square meters from the outside. So I'm a bit surprised.
Sorry,
What?
square feet. Sorry.
Square feet. Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what does that translate into maximum capacity footfall-wise?
We had a fire safety report, and it's 1,046, including offices. We believe full capacity on a Saturday night, we would be at 800 capacity.
Right. Quite a large crowd. So if you have a wrestling event or your Whitney Houston event or something like that, obviously you need some space for stages and whatever. So the 800 capacity would come down a little bit, or is that all included in your new architecture?
No, I mean, the plan being that we have different rooms for different events. You know, the rest, if we've got the Whitney Houston event upstairs, because we've got 2 kitchens, we can put a dinner and a show on while having the restaurant open as well downstairs. Plus, we've got a basement den, which we have a radio station that we'll be broadcasting from, that we built ourselves, with 15,000 listeners in Kent alone at the minute. And then you can go and have a drink and watch the radio station broadcasting live. We've got the whiskey room at the front of the building. So it all depends what we plan for that day, how many capacity we have. The only thing I can say to you is at maximum capacity, this building will be 800.
Okay. Just for curiosity, yes. What radio station is that you're operating? You are currently already operating it?
Yes, Soundgarden Radio. It's an internet radio station.
Soundgarden?
Soundgarden.
I've got to have a listen into it. I'm interested in internet radio personally, so yeah. And obviously you can sort of promote your events through that as well, and possibly also correspond with your neighbours on that. You said earlier your nearest neighbours are about 100 meters away, so there are no immediate neighbours living in the houses directly surrounding you in Old Street.
It's all. Have you got me back? I just dropped out for a second then.
Hello? I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, councillor. So it's all businesses around us at the minute. The only neighbour I believe is Louise, who's the manager of the pub next door, who lives on, and her room is on the opposite side of the building, and we have a very good relationship.
Right. So yeah, I just looked at. You've got an estate agent to the south of you.
Correct.
It looks pretty empty upstairs. So there are office buildings upstairs, or?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. One of the objectors mentioned something about you would be attracting people from out of town, particularly London. Now, with the late opening till after midnight, do you actually get a lot of people from London? Because obviously they couldn't catch a train back home to London.
No, that's correct. And I don't believe that is something that is going to be affecting us, to be honest. I believe that they were referring to certain events that happened last year at the Gallery nightclub. That they were bringing, it was the type of music and crowd that they were bringing from London. We do not touch that type of music in any way, shape or form. But what we're trying to do is be an amenity for people of Maidstone, something new.
It sounds very good, and I see you've got support from the BIT as well, which is always helpful.
Yes,
you are a member of BIT as well, I take it.
Yes, we will be supporting BIT. Yes.
Yeah. No, we're great supporters of the BIT personally, and I think the council is certainly. And the BIT is doing great things for the town.
Correct.
just checking my list here. You wanted, in the alterations you are asking for, you want to allow beer. So I take it beer is not currently permitted.
So, Councillor, it's a law that was passed in the wartime for this building because it was the Mid-Kent Tory Members Club at the time in the war. They put a restriction on that only bottled beer could be sold in the building during war times, no draft, so they could keep drinking. So it's just a law that hasn't been changed. So beer is allowed to be sold here and in bottle form. So we're just requesting that we can sell it in draft.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit of the history of the building then. Just one quick thing. This ID system that is in operation from 8 a.m. till 4 a.m. So during your whole opening time. So if I come for some lunch, you want to ID me?
No, the ID system would be for events only, which we've agreed with the police that there will be a risk assessment on every single event that we do, at least 2 weeks before the event, which we had in place when I was working at the Source Bar anyway, and working with James on that, on James Williams. So I know very much what he wants and what he needs for us to have every event. As I mentioned, we will be the only venue in Maidstone with an ID system. We've also bought a walk-through metal detector that nobody else in Maidstone, I don't believe anybody in Kent will be as safe as us.
All right. The ID system, does that include fingerprints? Because there is one venue in Maidstone who has a fingerprinting ID system.
I don't believe they use it anymore, sir.
So, also, Councillor, if I might just interject on the fingerprinting system, because I'm familiar with that system. A number of my clients have used it. The fingerprint isn't recorded, if you will, as a way of identifying you upon entry. The fingerprint is used to allow you to exit the premises and come back in rapidly. So when you turn up, you provide your ID by way of driving license or passport. You then place your thumb or finger on the fingerprint scanner, and it locks your fingerprint to the ID, which means anytime you want to go out, for example, to smoke, you can use the fingerprint to move things quicker than showing your ID each time. So it speeds things up, but it doesn't actually help with any form of identification, because the identification comes from the identification document that's accepted. So just to clarify that.
Okay, no, that's useful to know. But how would you describe your business, your future business? Is it predominantly a restaurant, or is it a multi-purpose venue? What is, in a nutshell, what's currently you're a restaurant, obviously, Pizza Express. So how is the restaurant changing to, what is it changing into, if anything?
It's not really changing anything. We are trying to, we've tried to base ourselves on Shoreditch House, which is a 5-6 room superior hotel for members only in Shoreditch, owned by the Soho House Group that I used to be a sous chef at for 2 years. So what we're trying to do is bring that little bit of class into Maidstone with high-end drinks, good quality food, and just good entertainment.
Right. So last question. I think I asked you long enough. If I come during the week at about 11:30 at night, would you serve me a meal?
We will have food on offer right through. It will be pizzas that will be on offer right through the night until we close. Yes, Councillor, I will be able to offer you some food.
That's useful to know, because it's difficult to find something after 9:30 in Maidstone. Which
I'll just give ourselves a little plug as well, that we've got 2 of the best Italian chefs from Naples, and all our ingredients are flown in from Naples as well. So if you fancy a good pizza.
Right. So, on a normal weekday, I'm one of those people who rarely carries ID with me unless I absolutely have to. You will let me in without to have a pizza at 11 o'clock in the evening.
No, sir. No ID, no entry.
Even if there's no event, just on a weekday. Wednesday evening?
What we've worked with police licensing is what we've agreed is that if there is no events on, we can run as a restaurant without security. So I believe the answer to that, if there isn't an event on, that you would be allowed to come and eat. The restaurant will be shutting at 10 p.m. on a regular night.
Okay. Okay, so your 4 o'clock in the morning is really just a boilerplate clause for if you have an event on a Wednesday.
That's correct.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much. That was very helpful.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Garton. If I may, can I just ask a couple of questions myself? I'm just trying to get my head around. I've been a Maidstone girl all my life, and I know the venue very well. Yeah. I understand the music venue. I think it's fantastic. I'd like to work sort of in my head how these events are going to work. Okay. Obviously, as they have at the moment, they go on as events and finish at midnight or 11:30 or whatever. Is that still going to happen, or do you plan to have events much later on during the evening, or is it a case of when all it is really is when the events stopped, those people can carry on drinking, carry on eating, etc., etc., or will the music be going on till 4 in the morning as such?
Yeah. So the plan being that on a Friday and Saturday night, it will be a late night entertainment venue. So we will be able to supply shows, music, food. But if people do want to carry on, especially after this lockdown, I'm sure we will, as long as they're obviously not intoxicated. And there will be food and drink and music available for people to enjoy themselves.
Lovely. That I get. Now, you're also talking about potential boxing. You say about boxing events. I'd like to know the frequency that you potentially would like to hold boxing events. And
I'll just stop you, Councillor. Again, this is something that we was advised to apply for. The room is not big enough for boxing events.
That was going to be my question. I was going to ask you how you were going to stage that, because I could not see how that could possibly work. So you don't intend to hold boxing events as such? Or
wrestling or anything like that. I think it was more that we thought that if we wanted to watch boxing or anything like that, we had to have the license. We weren't sure.
I was considering the difference in clientele between jazz clientele and boxing clientele and how the two would meet. And so actually that does make sense. Thank you very much indeed. Last but not least, just an admin question really. Why did the police think that you needed the flexibility to 4 o'clock Monday to Thursday if you don't intend to use it?
Again, it was just something that was advised to us, and because I believe that the reason being, after I spoke to James again on this matter, was that there would be flexibility to discuss with you if you weren't happy with giving us all that to make it a little bit smaller to suit everybody's needs and make everybody happy.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I don't have any other questions. Now let's look through what we have to do now. Right, okay. You have no other witnesses or anyone else that you wish to speak for you, Mr. Lavelle?
No, that's that's the lot. Save for we'll have our little closing at the end just to sweep everything up.
Okay, and we don't have any other parties as such. So let's just see if there are.
Sarah, I'm a local resident, and I did want to say a few things.
Miss Parfitt, how do we stand on that with the fact that we don't have this lady's identity?
If I could defer to legal for advice on that, please, Chair.
Thank you. I do wonder if the person who wishes to speak had made representations that have been submitted ahead of time in order for them to have the locus to address the subcommittee.
Yes.
You did?
And was in the invitation that was sent out, did you respond to that to confirm your attendance at this subcommittee?
Yes, I did.
I don't have that name on the list that was submitted to me.
No, I wasn't sure that I had a name that would match a person that would wish to speak.
If it helps, if I may interject, it's my understanding that registration is done with the senior licensing officer.
I'm speaking on behalf of somebody else. We're partners.
Ms. Neal, are you able to assist in that regard in respect of the invitations that went out and the responses to those invitations?
All I can comment is, really, I've heard from 3 people. I've given those names to Miss Parfitt. I believe it's Mr. Turgott, Mr. Roberts, and Dimitri. They're the 3 people that responded and said they wished to attend. So unless she's representing one of those 3 people, she can't speak.
I am. I'm representing Mr. Turgott.
Perhaps this matter can be put to the applicant to ensure that he's happy for the question to be asked.
Yes, absolutely. I know.
Thank you.
I know Bill is the owner of Social Chill Bar, just round the corner. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
In which case, please go ahead and ask your question.
You first spoke about the cars that will be in town, and I just wanted to say sorry, 1 second.
Sorry, I'm going to have to hurry you.
Sorry, I am here. Sorry. The premises only has
Sorry, just to make the point as well, these are questions rather than comments at this stage.
Okay.
You will have an opportunity to speak. Do you have any questions that come from what you've heard so far this morning?
Yes. You said that you'll enforce people to keep the volume down as they leave. I just wanted to ask you how you would manage to do that.
We will be placing street marshals at the top and bottom of the road, including the 3 SIA registered security that will be the front. And as people are leaving, they will be asked as well to keep the noise down. We also do something something that works that I've done for 20 years, is we give everybody a lollipop on the way out. And as silly as that sounds, it keeps them busy and keeps their mouths shut. It really works.
And then you also said that you won't be attracting people from London, but then you said that you want to base your venue on Shoreditch, which is a London venue. So,
yeah, I mean,
how would you be attracting Londoners?
I think it's more that you're giving. We're trying to give Maidstone something and keep people in Maidstone and go to London, because we've got something like London here. We're not trying to attract people from London. I mean, you're representing Mr. Turgott, who lives in London, who travels down here to run his business. So I'm guessing he will bring friends from London to his venue. More than I would bring people here.
Do you have any more questions?
I do. Is your intention for the property to be used as a nightclub then? Because then the potential risks are considerably different to that of a restaurant or a radio station and whatever else you've applied for.
The venue is going to be used as a multifunction purpose. There's going to be everything from a restaurant to nighttime entertainment.
So the answer is yes then?
It's going to be used as a multifunction venue.
Okay. That's it for now.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lavelle, do you wish to clarify any matter which arose during that questioning?
No, not really. I believe my client covered everything off. To me, it just sounds like he wants to run a Maidstone-centric business that has a bit of glamour and glitz that you might see in London. I can't see any reason myself why someone would travel from London, given that they'd have that exact thing in London. But hopefully the people of Maidstone might be able to enjoy a local business that's doing well and giving them something new.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. And you don't have any other witnesses that you want to speak on your behalf. So I think we could go on now to the same lady if you do have any other points that you want to raise.
Madam
Or any...
Chairman, if I quickly may ask a question
Garden Party.
from the response by Mr. Rodal just right now. To the question whether you turn into a nightclub, I do understand, and you tried to explain earlier when I asked you about multifunction, etc. Will there be any dancing in your new venue, and at what scale?
Yes, of course, Councillor, and I certainly hope so, sir, when we can.
And what's the size of the dance floor you would have available? I mean, are we talking nightclub style big dance floors, or are we talking more like a restaurant with a dance floor attached to next to the tables where people eat?
Again, Councillor, it all depends on what event we have on. We would like it won't be a daily occurrence, but we would like now and again to put a dance music event on and bring people like Idris Elba into the town again, which I did at Source Bar last year, which was very successful, and it brought some, great things to the town, and people really appreciated it. So,
and then that will be attracting people from London, which you're saying.
Hang on, can I ask you to, please? Can I ask you to hold fire on your questioning until Mr. Rodell has finished answering the councillors' questions? You'll have your opportunity to speak.
So, yes, Councillor, we would like the venue to be used as a nightclub style event on certain occasions, but not on a daily basis.
Right. And as far as floor space is concerned, I had a look at your floor space drawings. There are, I think was it from memory, on the first floor we had quite a large area which could be utilised as a dance floor. So how much area could you actually utilise as dance floor from?
We could use the jazz room if the tables and chairs were removed, and the restaurant space if the tables. So you've got two floors that could be used as a dance floor, and the way that the building's set out, it would be a flowing system with plenty of fire exits. We've had the fire report to allow us to make sure that this is safe.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Mr. Rodell. Our guest speaker. Yeah,
sorry.
Sorry.
Can you just note that I need to ask a question when you're on the next thing? Thank you.
Well, we are going on now to the different submissions. So, would you like to ask your question at this stage,
Yes,
Councillor
it would.
Joy?
It is from what the young lady was just speaking about, and it's to do with the police. I know James, obviously, personally as well, and it is a shame sometimes that the police aren't able to be here to answer some of the questions that arise. But one of the other things I do on nighttime economy working with James is some of the larger venues in Maidstone, I'm assuming you, like them, will have a calendar of events that are planned, probably monthly or whatever. Would you have any objection to that calendar of events being given to the police, so that not only you can let residents know living nearby what's going on, so that they know what's coming and what to expect? Because I think perception is sometimes the biggest thing that people, quite rightly so, are concerned about. So I'm thinking, if you've got the calendar of events for a month, that would give not only the residents but the police the sort of thumbs up to say, oh, we've got something really good, like Whitney Houston or whoever. So, that's my question. Would you have any objection to that, to help not only the police but the residents if it was to be allowed?
Yes, Councillor, that's already been agreed with James.
Okay. Are you happy for us to move on now, Councillor Joy? Lovely. Our guest speaker, this is now your opportunity to speak if you would like to.
Yes. The owner management has already demonstrated a disregard for the local resident and authority by hosting numerous noisy garden party events during summer of 2020, with police closing an event for lack of social distancing held at the Hare and Hound pub. Also, Mr. Carrera has also recently been in the Kent Online News when dance parties organised by his company, The Garden Project, of which he is a promoter and director, were probed by Maidstone Council for potential breach of coronavirus rules. The event held at a field in Loughton Wood, Zetlin, for a 3-day Halloween weekend. Footage has emerged which appeared to show that these were not adhered to, and these can be seen on the Kent Online.
Okay, I'm going to. Is that all you've got to say at the moment?
Yes.
In which case, before I come to the applicant, can I ask Councillor Joy, do you have any questions of our speaker?
No more, thank you.
Councillor Garton, do you have any questions of our speaker?
No.
Okay, in which case I'm going to come to the applicant. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
I would just like to say that there was an inquiry, but working with the police and environmental health, all that was cleared due to evidence given by ourselves in retrospect to the evidence given by the Kent Messenger. It was a 10-second clip that was dealt with very quickly, and we had evidence to prove how it was dealt with the management plan that we worked with the police and the environmental health, and they have no issues in, like I say, giving me licences moving forward.
But the Hare and Hound, however, was closed by police.
That was due to COVID.
Mr. Rodal, I think it would be fair also to add that it was a licensed event, although the event turned out to be larger than what the license was applied to. And you said you dealt with it accordingly. But it was a license. You did apply for a license.
Yes, correct. No, I was given the license. We stuck to the licensing rules and the management plan that we put in place that gave us the license. Everything was done above the law and approved. And there is nothing that has been said since with the evidence that we provided back.
But
Okay.
you've seen that you don't adhere to keeping the volume of noise down, and for rules that applied during that time, and the police shut it down.
That's a false statement.
It's not. It's a true statement.
Okay, can we move on now? So you've made your point, and I think Mr. Rodell has answered the question. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay, and you don't wish to clarify anything. Fine. I think then we are now done. I think we're going to go into closing speeches. So before this hearing's closure, I'm going to invite our guest speaker to see if she wants to say anything else at all before we close. Hello? I will take that you do not wish to speak anymore. In which case, Mr. Lavelle, is there anything you'd like to say as your closing speech for this subcommittee to hear?
Well, the members have heard plenty from all of us, I feel. I mean, if I was just to close off just those few key issues, the experts on crime and disorder and noise nuisance, that's the police and the environmental health team, they're very happy with the application and are not here because they have either not made a representation or they've withdrawn the representation that was made through discussions with the applicant. You've heard about the applicant's very progressive and front foot approach to managing activity of patrons both inside his premises and outside. You've also heard about the scale of his.
Oh dear, we seem to have lost Mr. Lavelle again. He may come back. Let's give him one couple of seconds because I think it's important we hear his closing speech.
Hello, I am back.
You're back. Carry on then, Mr. Lavelle. Carry on.
My goodness. Clearly doing what everybody else wanted me to do there, which is just shut up. So, but as I say, I think that the large takeaway from this and what you've heard from the applicant, and I'll then hand over to the applicant, is that this is a business designed to work in Maidstone and be an attraction for the people of Maidstone. If Idris Elba comes down to Maidstone. He doesn't draw people from London. He just gives the people of Maidstone a better night out when they can come to Mr. O'Dowell's premises. That's what will hopefully make Mr. O'Dowell successful here, allowing him to ensure, preserve and protect jobs, actually create jobs in a time that the leisure and hospitality industry has seen nothing but jobs falling away. Just on a lawyer's point, there's no suggestion that there's an issue of cumulative impact of various licensed premises in central Maidstone. That's taken from your own licensing policy. And as you've heard from Mr. O'Dowell, in terms of local impact, his on-street proactive management will deal with any potential risks of noise, nuisance or crime and disorder. With that in mind, I'd just like to hand over to Mr. O'Dowell to see if there's anything he'd like to say to you members as the last word here today.
Yes, I think I'd just like to put across how much I love this town. 15 years I've been here. I've done some great things in this town, and this town's been great to me. And to actually be able to give the town something amazing like this building and its full potential is what we're looking to do. Nothing more, nothing less. And the fact that we can offer 50 jobs in a time like now is absolutely fantastic. We raise money for many charities in the area. We work with many of the people from homeless care to mental health charities. We even do soup kitchens. So whatever people think, we are trying to do something good for this town. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Dowell. Councillor Joy, do you have any further questions before we close?
No, thank you, Chair.
Councillor Garton, do you have any final questions?
Just to, I may have missed it at the beginning. Mr. O'Dowell, the license is in the name of a limited company, and you are director of this company, or?
I am, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, all done. Miss Beasley, can you confirm whether there's any further matters that need to be raised or resolved before the hearing's closed?
No further matters from me, but may I suggest we come back at midday in this matter?
Lovely. In which case, I now declare this meeting closed. Subcommittee members, accompanied by our legal advisor, will now enter into a closed session to deliberate. We will come back at 12 o'clock and I suggest that as our time to come back if you want to join us again. That's right, all these started meeting. Yeah, that's lovely. So please feel free to join us again at 12 o'clock. If not, I'm sure you'll have written submission at some stage.
Well, I'll be here at 12. Thank you very much.
We'll be here at 12. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you later.
Good afternoon. Thank you for waiting whilst the subcommittee deliberated this application. As chairman, I would like to announce that subcommittee decision is to grant the variation as per the papers, and you will receive written confirmation of this decision within 5 days. All parties to the hearing will receive a copy of the written determination notice regarding the subcommittee's determination. All parties may appeal against the subcommittee's decision within 21 days, beginning with the day on which the appellant is notified of the licensing authority's written determination. Appeals must be lodged with the Magistrates' Court. Parties should be aware that the Magistrates' Court may make an order with respect to the costs of any appeal. This hearing is now formally closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, members. Hopefully we'll see you for a pizza. Thank you very much.
You never know.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank
with
you.
your enterprise, mates.
Yeah,
Does
definitely.
need to get punters back into a town centre.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very exciting.
Thank you to officers and subcommittee for all their help this morning.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia.